chronic full body pain, severe bloating, constipation and diarrhea, mitochondrial dysfunction, irritable bowel syndrome, hypoglycemia, cystic acne, rosacea, brain fog, muscle weakness, inflamed bowels, chronic fatigue, rapid and skipping heart rate, extreme food sensitivities. I could only eat 7 foods. Sensitivity to light to the point where I wasn't able to watch TV or even look at my phone anymore. Multiple chemical sensitivities, panic attacks, anxiety, depression, binge eating, and fibromyalgia. These were all of the symptoms that I had when I was chronically ill. But first, I want to share with you guys how it all started. Like, how did I become chronically ill? I want to share with you guys my story because so many of you guys are so curious how all of this happened to me. So it started out as a eating disorder. I had maybe not full on eating disorder, but I had some extreme disordered eating going on. And as a young teenager, I had full blown eating disorder. I was diagnosed with anorexia when I was 13. I had that for about 6 months, healed from it completely, went on to live my life for years. Then when I was about 19, 20 years old, disordered eating started to resurface in my life. And as that resurfaced, I started getting all kinds of strange symptoms. And the first symptoms that I started to get was I started to develop food sensitivities. So I remember specifically the first day that it happened. I was at my mom's eating breakfast and there was tomato in my breakfast. And immediately after I finished eating, I noticed that my knees started to ache. And I was like, that's really strange. So I just went on Google, Dr. Google, not a good place to be, and started looking up like knee pain and like what I ate for breakfast because it seemed like to be correlated because it seemed to happen right after I ate. And then I read like, oh, tomatoes can cause chronic pain, all of this. So I cut tomatoes out of my diet thinking, oh, I must just have a tomato sensitivity. So I cut tomatoes out of my diet and then the pain went away. And I was like, oh, awesome, great, like, and moved on with my life. And then it continued to happen where I would eat another meal and then I would respond negatively and I would have weird symptoms arise. And this continued for years and years and years. And I just kept identifying more foods, more and more and more foods that I was sensitive to. And so I would cut those foods out of my diet. I would get relief for a little while and then my body would develop a sensitivity to a new food. This went on for years till the point that I was down to eating only 7 different foods. And all I could do was drink water and ginger tea, eat these 7 foods, and I could not even take any supplements. So my body was in an extreme state of just like rejecting everything. So this happened, and then over the span of 6 years continued to get worse and worse and worse until I ended up hitting a complete rock bottom where I was hardly functional, extremely depressed, and truly believed that I was going to die. So when I was dealing with all of these symptoms for the 6 years that I had them, I did everything I could to heal myself. I went to regular doctors, I went to functional medicine doctors, I went to naturopaths, I did acupuncture, I tried all of the random healing protocols out there. I did like a low FODMAP diet. I did the autoimmune protocol diet. I did everything that you could think of to help heal myself, and nothing was working and no doctor could help me. And I remember I had one last final hope. There was a doctor out in California who I'd been following online, and I just had a feeling like if anyone can help me, it's going to be her. And so she didn't take insurance, guys. So what I did was I was broke. I had no money because I could barely work to bring money in at the time because I was so ill. So I went online. I went www.lendingtree.com Saved my life. Thank you, Lending Tree. And I went online and took out a $6,000 loan. I had zero idea how I would even make the monthly payments, but I did it anyways because I knew, like, this woman is my last hope. And if I don't go see her, I'm just going to rot, sit in bed and rot and die. So I might as well take this risk, although massive. The death's not going to matter if I'm dead. So I might as well just go do it. So I took out the $6,000 loan, flew out to California to see this doctor, was so excited that I was just going to get the answer to my healing. And I sat down in her office and she went over all of the labs that she had taken for me because she literally took like every lab and every test you could think of. And she looked at me and she said, Rachel, your labs are the worst I've ever seen. And I don't know if there's anything that I can do for you. She said, I can't put you on any protocols because you're reacting to everything that you consume. She was like, my only idea of what you can do is look into this thing called brain rewiring. There's people are self-healing themselves. So look into brain rewiring and maybe this will help you. And then she sent me on my way. And that was it. So my last hope told me, I can't help you. And that day was one of the hardest days of my life, but it was also one of the best days of my life. Looking back now, I can see that. At the time, I couldn't. I felt completely lost. I went home. I flew back home and went into like a 3-month deep depression where I just like gave up on myself because of what she had told me. And then I remember one day I was just sitting on my couch and it just came to me the thought like, Rachel, why not just give this brain rewiring shit, just give it one last shot? Like, you're rotting to death anyways. Like, what's it going to hurt? So I did it. I went online and started researching how to brain rewire, how to self-heal, and I put myself on a little self-healing protocol. And within 6 months, I was able to heal myself 100% after being sick for 6 years and getting no answers and people telling me I can't help you, like you're a lost cause. And when I finally took matters into my own hand and used my own power to heal myself, to self-heal, I was able to get to 100% healthy within just 6 months, which is just mind-blowing. So the self-healing that I did on myself, I focused on mind, body, and soul. So I rewired my brain. I taught my brain to send different signals to my body. So I basically shifted the neural pathways of my brain. So my brain was currently sending signals to my body to create symptoms and illness constantly. Like, oh, Rachel's eating, better send some signals to her body so that she has a million symptoms. So what I did was I taught my brain to stop doing that. I taught my brain to stop sending signals of symptoms and illness to my body, and instead I taught it to send signals of healing and vitality to my body instead. I also healed any past traumas that were stored in my body, because if you have a trauma within you that has not been healed, that will block you from healing, because that negative energy is sitting in you and it will fester, and your body can't withstand holding on to negative energy for long amounts of time. And when it does, like I said, it starts to fester and then it causes a body to malfunction and it will start to create chronic symptoms and chronic illness. So I rewired my brain, I healed my traumas, I looked at the thoughts and the beliefs I was having and shifted them. I healed any limiting beliefs I had that were not true, that were holding me back in my life, and I shifted the way I thought. So I taught myself to think and behave like a happy, healthy version of me would. I learned how to become the future version of me that I dreamed of, which I will be teaching you guys more about in next week's video. I also did some body work, so I shifted my diet into an anti-inflammatory, I shifted my diet to an anti-inflammatory healing diet that shifts your metabolism. So my metabolism was shifted into a healing and anti-inflammatory state, which really helped kickstart the healing process for me. And this really helped my brain to function better. So I had less brain fog and more clarity of mind so that I could do the other work, like the brain rewiring and the healing of the trauma and the thought shifting and the belief shifting. And then finally, I did some soul work. So I learned how to connect to my intuition on a very deep level. I learned how to connect more deeply to a higher power to receive guidance and communication and support along my healing journey. And I learned how to use the law of attraction to attract in the health and the healing that I so desperately wanted. And between all of these modalities, I was able to self-heal myself in just 6 months. So that day that I went and saw that doctor and I took out the $6,000 loan to see her, it was one of the worst days because I felt lost, I felt hopeless, and I felt like it was the end for me. But it was actually one of the best days ever because that was the day I learned about self-healing, and I learned that we all have the ability to heal ourselves from anything. We all the time look to outside sources. We look to doctors and different like gurus and protocols and supplements and all of these external things to help heal us, when actually everything we need to heal is within us. It's all right here. You just need to know it's there, and you need to know how to tap into it. And this is what I now teach inside my program, Total Healing. So once I healed myself, I tested out my formula, my healing blueprint, on other people, and it worked just as amazingly for them as well. And I now run a 3-month-long online group coaching program where I teach people the exact blueprint I used to heal myself from 6 years of illness within 6 months, and I can teach that to you guys now so you can learn how to self-heal yourself too, how to take your power back, fire your doctors, throw out all the supplements, and learn how to heal using everything that you have right in here. I hope you enjoyed listening to my story. If you have any questions for me or comments that you want to share, let me know, and I would be happy to connect with you further.